How you guys doing? How's Steam doing tonight? So I've been busy this week because I'm actually taking some of my licensing boards for osteopathic medicine. It's Comlex Level 2. But I've been going over some things, and kind of reminds me of when I had a month of psychiatry. Partly because I'm going crazy, but the other half is because I remember when I was in psychiatry, it was a lot of fun to try to enact kind of the different parts of psychosis. And one of these is disorganized thoughts. And that's how, when you're listening to somebody who is suffering from some sort of psychosis, whether it be schizophrenia or whether someone's having disorganized thoughts from something like mania, which you would see in bipolar type disorders. So where I see a lot of people using things wrong, and in fact I use this phrase wrong, a lot of people say, oh, I'm going on a tangent. Well, until you truly see what a real tangent is, we don't really use the word tangent correctly. So looking back over my notes here, tangential a thought process is when someone asks you a question, it's not that you go into details about something else and then eventually get back to the point. You never get back to the point is really what a tangent is. So when most people use the word tangent, what they really mean is circumstantial. So let me give you an example of that. So let's say somebody was asking you, oh, so you went to the casino, did you win big? So circumstantial would be, so good question. I went to the casino and it was a lot of fun. You know, there were a lot of people there and a lot of beautiful women. I'm not sure if they were just trying to tempt me, but anyway, I got to the casino and man, there were a lot of games to play. You know, so I decided to play craps, and so on my first roll of the dice, I won some money, you know, and a lot of people were clapping. There's someone, you know, telling me to put more in, and you know, it was a lot of fun. But anyway, yeah. Overall, I didn't win very much money. That's not a tangent. That's a circumstantial thought process. You don't really get to the point. And yes, this could be a sign of, you know, one indication that someone's thought process is not totally clear. But everybody does this. So you know that wouldn't really cue me into thinking really anything about psychosis. But let's go to tangential, and this is very common. You'll see this very commonly, and I think that it's possible someone who, you know, is not suffering from anything could do this, but it makes you start thinking, and this could even be like hypomania or kind of just subtle symptoms of bipolar. But you can see it in other you know, kind of more psychotic type things. So let me give you an example of tangential thought process. So let's keep it the same topic here. Let's go to so I heard you went to the casino. Did you win big? So someone who's kind of more going on a tangent, they would say, oh, that's a good question. So I got to the casino and I saw, you know, all these beautiful women, and you know maybe they were tempting me. I'm not sure, but you know they were wearing, you know, very very kind of risque clothing. You know, I used to really like clothing a lot. You know, I even thought about owning, you know, a clothing shop, and I don't really know why I never did. That would be a tangent. Now let's go to something a little bit more drastic, and this is definitely suggestive of psychosis. And again, psychosis has many different features. One is just kind of disorganized thoughts. So let me give you an example of an actual loose connection. And a lot of people would also think of this more as derailing. You're derailing from the topic. You can see how someone kind of got there, but there's no real clear sequence. So it's kind of like, you know, I don't really know where this person's going at all. But maybe to the person with psychosis, there is some connection, but it's not clear. Let me give you an example. So let's keep with the casino here. So I heard you you went to the casino the other night. Did you win big? Well, I got to the casino, parked my car. Women are so beautiful, you know. I don't even know. Man, you know, where are you going tonight? Is there a party? Man, I need to study. I don't know what to do. I'm just so stressed. You know, sometimes I like to go out for picnics. That's fun. What do you want to do tomorrow? That would be loose connections. Me completely off the topic of the casino. You know, maybe maybe you could think, oh, it was kind of connected, but I'm not getting it. And then you get to a part where there's just no connection at all, and that's called like a word salad, where they're actually English words or whatever language you speak, but literally, I don't even, you know, you don't even know if they know what they're talking about. Literally, they're just saying words. I don't probably need to give an example of that, but I mean, you can just jumble up a whole bunch of English words, and that would give you that, and you do see this. I personally have never seen the word salad, but I definitely saw plenty of loose connections, so, you know, beyond tangents. And then you can even get to the point where they're not even saying words, they're making up, they're creating new words. And this is very interesting to see in real life. But, you know, this is just one thing of psychosis. So when someone's psychotic, you know, what does that mean beyond, and I'm going to refer to some notes here so I don't go on too much of not a tangent, but speaking too circumstantially. Let me just kind of give you some other criteria to go in, and this is referring to DSM-5, the newest diagnostic criteria of psychosis. So one is that disorganized speech. That's what we covered today, and I can go into different ones if this is popular for anyone here, or if I just feel like it, because I just like to ramble. But other topics, other categories of psychosis, you know, would go under things like delusions. So if you're delusional, you know, there's not really any proof leading you to think that, but it doesn't matter what proof someone has to say that that's not true, you're going to believe it. Let's say a Martian has implanted something in your brain, and you could get an MRI, or let's say a CT, but you know, there's no chip there, but there's still a chip there. That's delusional thinking. Hallucinations, I think we all know what those are. But it doesn't have to be a visual hallucination. Most people get this wrong, but most schizophrenics actually don't even have visual hallucinations. They really are having auditory hallucinations. And if they do have a visual hallucination, it's not like the movie A Beautiful Mind. It's like there's, you know, like they saw a shadow in the corner of their eye and they look around, but you know, but usually these voices they hear, they're very conversational. That's interesting too. You know, I recommend people, I mean, you know, it's very sad these people go through this, but it's very meaningful. You know, even if you're not in the medical field, I think it's very interesting to actually volunteer your time, you know, go to a hospital and really just interact with people with this, because it really gives you an appreciation of just, you know, not just all the hardships they go through, but also just how complex the human brain is. So I'd recommend, if you want to do any service, to go to a mental facility. Most places still have those. You know, some people are for their own safety in hospitals. So whether you agree with that or not, it's interesting to interact with these people and, you know, to care about them too and go there. So now I almost did really go on a tangent there, but so we were on delusions, hallucinations. We already talked about disorganized thoughts. These are kind of elements. And there's also a difference between an illusion and an hallucination. An illusion, there really is something there, but you're not perceiving what that object is correctly. For instance, if you saw a towel folded like a bunny and you said, "Oh, look, there's a bunny there," well, you're not hallucinating, but you're not perceiving that. It's an illusion. You're not really seeing that it's a towel. So let's go on to schizophrenia. When we think of psychosis, that's really what we think about. Well, you have to have it for 6 months. Or sorry, no, that's right. You have to have it for 6 months, and you have to have two of the following. So we've already mentioned most of these: delusions, hallucinations, disorganized speech, disorganized behavior. Sometimes when you talk with a schizophrenic, like they will literally, like you'll walk into the room and they'll be like this, and you'll talk to them and they'll be like, yeah, very flat affect, very just not really all there, very detached, and their face will just be very, very stoic. Just it's very interesting to see that too. And I was kind of getting into actually another category, which is negative symptoms, poverty of speech, this flat affect I was talking about, and lack of emotion, just very, just kind of there, but just no expression at all. So that's schizophrenia, psychosis. Talked a little bit about mania too, because with the different parts of speech, not parts of speech, but with the different ideas of thought, which that's also a difficult topic, because when you're talking about disorganized thoughts, it also it's in speech as well. So for instance, pressured speech, which you a lot of times will see with someone who's in a manic state who's bipolar. Well, that can also be loose connections or derailing, like we already talked about. But when you're saying pressured, you're really just talking